Oh, I'm the one checking inside.
Okay. All right. Good day, everyone, and welcome to another edition of a Google Plus Hangout for Channels Beam. And today we're looking at the fight against insurgency. I'm joined now by 4 journalists who actually took time to go down to Borno State to see for themselves how things are actually going out there. As a result, I mean, this insurgency started way back in 2009, and today quite a lot has gone down. In that region. But first, I have Michael Abimboye. He's joining me. He is the political editor for Nige.com. Thanks for coming on the program.
Thank you very much, Victor.
Of course. We also have Dotun Oladipo. He's the publisher of the Eagle Online. Dotun, thank you as well for coming on the program.
Good morning and thanks for the invitation.
You're welcome. And then we have Ali Adoy. He is the editor of Daily Post. Good morning as well, and thanks for coming on the program.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
All right, so let's kickstart the conversation from your own end. I mean, you were in Borno. Let's begin with what you saw on ground when you got to that region. Mr. Adoy, go ahead.
Okay, Borno. Yeah, it was sort of an eye-opener to all of us that visited the state, and particularly Maiduguri. You know, we had a gross misconception all along regarding what was going on as at then. I mean, and as at we visited. So when we got into Maiduguri, we were shocked because although we had the first impression we got was the fact that the city, you know, many people, because we arrived in Maiduguri around, I think 5-6 p.m. and everywhere was just quiet, and we were wondering what was wrong. And when I asked someone, he told me Maiduguri is a bit quiet in the evening because people will hardly come out in the evening. They are still scared. They are still afraid of what befell them recently. So we also had the impression that we're going to be seeing the military men harassing people along the street and all whatnot. But yeah, we got a different impression altogether. People were free, they were moving, and nobody was harassing anybody. But the following day, we saw a different Maiduguri when we were going to Mafa, you know, because activities were bubbling. I know people were engaged in different commercial activities. Keke Napep, otherwise known as Keke Marua, were doing their job, and everybody was just, you know. But one thing to note is that everybody is a suspect in Maiduguri. That's the truth. Yeah, everybody with a suspicious eye. So that was what I noticed.
All right, Beryl, you see, everyone is a suspect in that place. Well, I mean, that brings a lot into question. But then, Michael, let me also come to you. I mean, he says everyone is a suspect. But then, what exactly, how prepared would you say you saw our military personnel in terms of now trying to weed out these insurgents?
I think the military, they are well prepared, personnel are well prepared. But the problem I saw, the fact that I don't think they have enough ammunition. I don't think they have enough weapons. I don't think they have the right weapons. Let me put it that way. They have to look at the regular AK-47, some Ranger guns, tanks and all. But I think we need more sophisticated weapons to fight this Boko Haram. If going by the latest reports, like I think it was on Sunday in Punch, that the money they got from the swap of cheaper gas was used to buy more powerful guns, then I think it's all time for our own soldier army to get more powerful guns too. So going by that, I don't think we have the right guns, the right ammunition or weapons to fight the insurgency right now. I don't think we do.
But
we might have the T-72 tank acquired by Claude Jonathan and the former government. But I think we need more weapons to fight the insurgency.
All right, but the government has already denied that they didn't pay any ransom whatsoever in retrieving the girls. Don't you believe that?
I don't think there's anywhere in the world where hostages to be released without any ransom being paid or without anything being exchanged. So if they are saying, I think that's one of the problems with this government. If you're not being sincere with the public, then there's no way. You can't say that 23 girls or 21 girls were released for free. It's not done. It's not done anywhere. these guys, they have a motive of kidnapping these girls in the first place. So now that you can't tell me they just release the girls like that, it's not possible. I'm sure something was paid. If it's not money, some members were released. So that's basically a better trade.
Well, okay. Well, I'll come back to you again on that. But let's hear from Dotun also. Dotun, I mean, quite different views so far. But then, how would you put it in terms of what you saw? Do you think we're ending this insurgency anytime soon?
Well, anywhere in the world, insurgency is a big deal, and it's not something that you can wish away. Even in situations of war, where we've, for instance, in Liberia and Sierra Leone intervened, after leaving, it's not as if those two countries are fully at peace. It's something that we have to deal with in the next few years without minding what is going to go down there. It's a big issue. I'm not denying the capability of our military to deal with it, but it's been agreed that insurgency anywhere does not end in one day.
Yeah, of course. I mean, as it is evident in Nigeria, we've been on this since 2009, and here we are. It's 7 years down the drain. A lot of people are still going down with this insurgency. Some civilians, some military officers. But then, what's the mood like in the city?
Well, things are gradually returning to normal. I've been in Maiduguri a couple of times before, and then before the insurgency began. Maiduguri happens to be like the normal Lagos in terms of commerce, in terms of nightlife. And a semblance of that is returning. Driving through the city during the day now, you encounter traffic. You see people selling their wares by the side of the road. In fact, just on Friday, the state government issued a statement saying it was going to start clamping down on roadside hawkers and sellers because they are now constituting a nuisance by creating traffic just almost everywhere. This wasn't so some months back. So I guess there is improvement in terms of what the situation looked like in the past, and people are beginning to feel some sense of security. Though, like it was earlier pointed out, everybody is a suspect in this insurgency case because you don't know who is carrying the bomb. You don't know what the next man to you is thinking about, if he's an insurgent himself. So there is still that attitude of caution. The military is always on the alert. It's always, prepared to respond to distress calls. So it's changing, but then it's like I said earlier, it can't be an overnight change. It's something that we have to deal with for a very long time.
All right, very well. I'll come back to you in just a minute. Michael, let me come back to you. The issue of the military, would I call it human rights abuses now, or genocide? I mean, that has also come up. They're blaming the Nigerian soldiers. Their tactics in trying to fight this insurgency. How would you explain such? Or how would you say they should go about it? Because if they go this way, there's a lot of complaints here and there. What should be done?
Well, I think you can't take away such from military operations because you always have bad eggs among them. That's one. Two, in this world, you don't know, like my colleague has said, you don't know who is who. Even a normal soldier and a normal person, they dress alike. So you don't know who is coming at you. In the case of battle, you are firing at other people. You don't know who you are facing. So if someone is acting funny, it's like it's necessary for them. It's obvious for them to just attack the person. But in the case of rape or that in camp, I don't think that's right. I think that should be cautioned. I think the military should step up their disciplinary actions and caution their soldiers to act civil and obey laws, treat people fairly. But in case when it's war front or where it's an area where people don't live, you don't expect soldiers to treat any stranger friendly. You expect them to be harsh on the person at first, and the person responds calmly and normal and treat it. But I don't think it's easy. It's not going to be easy to incorporate human rights abuses within the military. It's not going to be easy because these soldiers they see their colleagues dying every day. So you don't just expect them to see my colleague dying every day. You don't expect them to just say passers-by who is looking at them strangely, who might be an insurgent by himself, and just the person come like that. They need to challenge the person. Who are you? Who are you? So it's the citizens now, the residents of this area, who should know how to react to these soldiers when they accuse them of who are you, when they talk to them, who are you, and they should know how to respond to them calmly, like, okay, and identify themselves so they can be at peace with each other.
Well, let's I hope that comes to be in place. But then, Ali, let me come back to you again. Now, the issue of this whole thing, because a couple of leaders have come for the insurgents. Now I'm talking about a couple of leaders have come and gone. Mohammed Yusuf, Abubakar Shekau, we're not sure whether he's alive or not. But then the one thing that is sure, one thing that has kept happening is the bombs going off and the killings still going on. Do you think this thing has gone beyond the scope we are actually looking at it from? Do you think it has, maybe it's now more of an ideology kind of thing?
Yeah, that's a very big question because, that one person, I want to recall that one man who asked a question, a journalist, I think, asked a question in our last visit. And the question is, when will this war end? And to be honest with you, the right answer given at that moment was the war will come to an end when we all become stakeholders. Because this thing is becoming, just like you rightly put it, it's an ideological warfare, so to speak. And if it is an ideological warfare, it demands that everybody, it demands what we call societal inclusion. That means everybody has to be included in this war. Nobody has to be left out. Because these insurgents, they work on people's psychology, they use the media, they use the locals and everybody, to fight the military. So in this case, because this war to come to an end, it then means that we all have to be stakeholders in fighting these insurgents because it's an ideological warfare. It is a war that these guys are determined to fight and then institute their ideology in every part of the country. So I think the solution to fighting insurgency in the Northeast and every other part of the country is to be involved, fully involved. The media should be involved. The ordinary man on the street must be involved. He must understand that the military, the men in front have put their lives in the line for them. So, they must, like one thing that I noticed when you were talking about the human rights issue is the fact that, the hostility that I saw in Maiduguri, the military are not really enjoying the support they're also enjoying from the people. Because even when we were driving at some point, you see that the ordinary man who will be dragging the road with the military, with the army, which means no respect for the army. And most of the military men that we were working with were complaining bitterly because they said these guys are not grateful. Because when Maiduguri was in the heat of the war, they were nowhere. Now that they are back in the city, they are not giving the right respect to the military to do their job. Besides, you talked about the human rights abuses here and there. You cannot talk about the human. I'm not here to shower accolades on the military, though. But you cannot be talking about human rights abuse here and there when these guys are fighting and killing the military. In fact, one man painted a scenario where a military man, because I was asking in the background, one man was painting a scenario where a military man was slaughtered. you know, and they've got some exclusive videos where they watch, and you can't be watching those videos and then at the end of the day you go to the front and you expect them to just arrest those guys without killing them, because these guys are coming heavily armed. So I think the issue of human rights is over, you know, it's been overemphasized. You know.
Yes, I think so.
All right, very well. Let's take a look at the issue of their demands. Dotun, let me come to you. I mean, they've made various demands, but two main issues they've always raised is, one, the issue of releasing, in exchange, their members that were arrested by the federal government or the Nigerian troops, and also the creation of the Islamic State. Do you see that happening?
I don't. But before I go fully into that, let me also speak on the issue of the human rights abuse. I guess the way we have so far handled information in the public space has not been perfect. I guess some of those who are complaining about these human rights abuses have not seen some of the videos that were taken from the camps of these terrorists. I've watched a few of them. There was one that they showed us, and they said there was a DSS operative, a lady. She vomited for 3 days after watching that video. And what was the content? One of those who slaughters human beings for the terrorists cut off the head of a man and took the head and started spilling the blood on his own head, rejoicing, shouting. And then there was another one where they tied a 14-year-old boy, and they were not shooting him with an AK-47, but something that looked like an anti-aircraft gun. And what was the reason? That they leaked their information to the police. I mean, when people see such, how then do you now come to the point where you begin to talk about human rights abuse? Or you watch the video where they attacked the army barracks in Maiduguri, and then after they were subdued, seeing the worths of dollars that they brought with them, meaning that those guys that came were going to be paid. When you see such videos, you are bound to have a rethink. Are we to be talking about human rights abuse here? Why are these people writing the reports? Why are they not also talking about human rights abuse on the part of on the other side? It's sickening when you read some of these reports. And the way I look at it is this: if I am the average soldier fighting that battle and seeing my colleagues slaughtered and other civilians, will I be able to control myself if I have the opportunity to bring down some of these guys? It's a big question. And I think this is what we should be telling the international community. This is what we should be showing them. So that when countries are saying, don't sell arms and ammunition to Nigeria because the soldiers are abusing human rights, they should also be saying the other side of what these guys are doing. For instance, there is information in the public space when the country had to open up the border around Lake Chad, that there was a particular day, these terrorists drove in over 30 Hilux vans, brand new, meaning somebody somewhere is providing the funds, encouraging these guys to go ahead and do all that they are doing. So back to the issue of the conditions being given. I don't see Nigeria conceding or acceding to those requests. Even the issue of releasing their members for the Chibok girls is going to be difficult, because these are the big guys are doing the legwork, who are doing the big task of coordinating these attacks, who are engaged in the act of psyching their leg men into carrying out the attacks. So when you release them, where do we start? It means we are starting all over again. And that's why the issue of giving money in exchange for the cheaper girls came in. Because if you begin to give money, it means you are also funding the activities of the terrorists. So it's a major issue that they should also know that it's going to be difficult for the government to say we are giving you this, we are meeting these conditions. I actually don't see it happening. It's going to, if we do that, then what it means is we have said bye-bye to a united Nigeria. We've seen what is happening with ISIS all over where they are established. Once they get a foothold, the attack does not stop. It doesn't guarantee the attack stopping, even if because they want to colonize more territories. Certainly, you can't say I own a parcel of land and I have the ammunition to attack my neighbors, and I won't do so. So on all fronts, it's a lose-lose situation if those conditions are met.
All right, very well. Michael, let me get your view on this issue of conditions. Do you think these conditions can be met, especially these two I mentioned earlier?
No. I don't think we should meet the demands of the Boko Haram terrorists. I mean, we are not here to let's go some part of Nigeria. So why should we meet the demands of the terrorists? I think we should face them and take them out. I think that's the best way to go. Yeah, we are at war here. Like I said, we are at war. So we shouldn't treat them with pity. Like we shouldn't approach them with a carrot and stick approach. We should go out against them, clear them out, and reclaim our country. That's the best. Although there'll be case of in the case of these cheaper girls, whether some of them will die in the event of attacking them. That's bound to happen. There's no way that will not happen because collateral damage is going to happen. But the few ones that we can rescue alive, let's rescue them alive. And that's why I'm putting out that we need ammunition, we need sophisticated weapons that can. I think there is a weapon, there's a gadget that can detect movement of humans from far away. I think if you can get such, that will help us locate where these girls are, okay, who is moving in this area, or are the terrorists around this area. So that will be, we can know how to attack. It's the kind of things we need to end this war. But as far as I'm concerned, we should not meet the demand of terrorists. We should attack them, clear them out of our country, and reclaim Nigeria. We want Nigeria. Victor. Okay. So that's it for me. But I would also like to discuss the issue of Nigeria's neighboring country. I don't think we have a cooperative neighboring countries in this world. I think the only country perhaps I might say that is a bit cooperative with us is Cameroon, because they've also suffered enough attack from Boko Haram. So the Chad might not be that cooperative because we don't know the capacity of the army, and like one of the top military officers pointed out to us that these countries can't give what they don't have. And so the battle is our battle. So it's left for us to fight it. And if you keep waiting for this country to fight the battle for, like, push the terrorists out of that side to us, it's not going to happen. It's our battle to push them out. And if it's battle for us to eliminate them, let's eliminate them. But we can't really have the full support of the other countries like Niger and Chad, which are our neighboring countries. And one other issue we have right now is the issue of rebels in Chad and a bit of Niger. We need to. There's no way we don't have a say over that. We don't have the power over that. But I think we need to secure our borders properly to checkmate their influx into Nigeria and to checkmate their relationship with the Boko Haram insurgent. Because it's believed that these rebels in Chad and Niger form part of Boko Haram insurgent. So it's better. It's the high time the earlier we mount our borders, we secure our borders properly, the earlier we end this war and be able to move into the post-war conflict.
Yeah, Michael, I quite agree with you on that. And in the area of cooperation with our neighbors, if you look at the stories we have heard, the pictures we have seen, are being used as the fighters by Boko Haram. They are not Nigerians. Yes. When this Semin war started years back, I said to people, I said, I am so sure that the vast majority of people who are involved in this are not Nigerians. And I think I've been proved right now. Because the pictures you see, the reports you read, shows that most of these people have been brought in from neighboring countries, but certainly not Cameroon. Yes, so those who are involved know themselves. And the way it is not as if our borders are so porous that this movement cannot be tracked. But the point remains, like you have, Michael has said, can we get to a point where we have enough personnel and the arms and ammunition to do this battle? It's going to be almost impossible. You don't just increase the size of your army for just one battle. Can't do that, because when it's no longer wartime, what do you do with the rest? Exactly. Can our economy even sustain it? Yes. One of the areas where we wasted money in the past, that I'm sure if we had saved, we would have been a bit better today, were the wars in Liberia and Sierra Leone. In Liberia alone, in terms of calculation, we were said to have spent over $5 billion. That's apart from the men and officers that were lost in those battles and the equipment that we provided. So it's a big issue for us to attend to. How do we deal with our neighbors, neighboring countries, to ensure that even their own areas, the routes that have been identified for the movement of these terrorists into Nigeria can be blocked?
Yes, that's true. For me, another issue I would like first to raise is the issue of the foreign technical partners we have, the US and the UK. So far, they've only been giving us intelligence, which little we don't know about. And okay, they provide intelligence to us. To carry out this intelligence, we need ammunition, guns, and the rest. Access to buy these guns and rest, we don't have it, they're blocking us. So of what use is their intelligence and their assistance to us? So far, the US has been blocking us from the last administration, blocking us from buying guns and ammunition from either the US or that country. We've resorted to buying from black market, which helped us in decreasing the Boko Haram insurgents earlier in 2015 and down to this year. But now we need superior weapons. And just Sunday, we tried buying from Brazil. US blocked it. So, and they are here and they're giving us assistance. So, of what use is their assistance? They are like frenemies. They're not our friends, they're our enemies. They just stay in the middle and try to block us when we try to achieve good things. So, it's better we do away with them, link with other countries. We could partner with Russia, which I feel they can come to our assistance and give us the kind of weapons we need, the kind of ammunition, the kind of gadgets we need to end this war. So it's better for us to move away from the US orientation, like, if we don't get from the US, we've not gotten it. The other time, they gave us some trucks like that. The trucks were faulty, we were not even working. And later on, they said it's up to us to fix the truck. So of what is those giving us a 70% damage truck and co. So for me, it's a bad. Our relationship with them is not really cordial as such. We need to move away from that orientation and get ourselves aligned to other countries. Russia is a good country to get aligned with and get us kind of equipment we need for this war. That's it for me. Ali, what do you think? Ali?
Well, I will say that I quite align with what you have said, but then we should not forget that we have only one policeman for the whole world, and that's the US. So even having to deal with Russia, which quote and unquote is in the bad books of the US, is going to be a bit tough for us, because most of what you get around, there are things that are either manufactured or sanctioned by the US for manufacture. So what we can do at the best is to get used and disused equipment to fight this war. We can't get the latest, we can't get the top of the range equipment as we speak now. Yet I wonder why, like you said, these guys are providing us quote and unquote technical assistance. Because if the assistance is not going to translate into the war being won, or at least getting to a point where safely the supply route of these terrorists can be blocked completely, where they can be cut off in terms of men and equipment, then I don't see the relevance of the assistance. I really don't see it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, another issue that was brought up was the issue of the press and the military. I think that we spoke a lot about it, and it was agreed that the military should see the press as partners in this war. I guess they need to always tell us the truth. They need to stop telling us, oh, they stop denying. There are times you admit, oh, so something happened. No soldiers were killed. Number of soldiers were not. It's a lie. No soldier was killed. You don't need. It's war. You will lose personnel. The other party will lose. So it's better to tell Nigerians the truth. Nigeria will be able to know how to support you. But not a case of where you keep denying all the time. And I think the military authority, they've agreed to always tell the truth that they can tell us, which is, well, we all know that they can't always tell us the truth. If agreed to always tell us the truth, they can tell us, and which we also will report. And the truth that we can't print out, keep it to ourselves and have it as discussion. That's one of the.
Yeah, I do think that the media ought to be careful and circumspect in this case. It is not every information that is in the that you have as a newsman that is publishable, that you should publish. What we should be looking at, and that is why we have editors, people who are mature, people who have the capacity to decide what goes into the paper, who have the ability to know what can harm the country. That's why we have them sitting on top of these newspapers. We should be able to, for instance, even if it was not published, it's been established that it was just a little information that got out to the terrorists that led to the recent killing that the nation mourned all over. Just a little information about movement of troops. So if we are not careful the kind of information that we put out, we are only going to empower these rebels. If with the kind of equipment that we have seen that they had access to in the past, if they have access to it now and they continue that way, they are capable of overrunning this country. Anybody who can sit down and put together explosives, manufacture IEDs, have a factory for it, bombs and the rest, is capable of doing anything. At a point, the rest of the country was already living in fears until the activities of the terrorists were limited to Borno State. Before, it was spreading rapidly.
Yes.
Going into Yobe, going into Adamawa, Bauchi, you know, and up to Abuja. And before you know it, this thing will will take a national dimension where no part of the country is safe again. Afghanistan is at it today. Who knows when it's going to end? Syria is at it today. Who knows when it's going to end? It's a big issue. And so, as such, the media should be circumspect. We should be able to know when we are fueling the energy of the terrorists, because that is what they thrive on, propaganda. Once they keep getting the mileage in the media, they are fine, because that is what their sponsors want to see, to be able to continue funding their activities. So the media should also take it very. It's good to report. It's good for people to run in and buy your newspapers, read you online, and all the rest. But where does it leave the country? Where does it leave our military men who are putting their lives on the line in order to ensure that this country does not go down? So that's my appeal to the media. We need to be circumspect. We need to be careful. We need all caution that we can take at this point in time, because the more we give this terrorist publicity, the more we are arming them for the battle.
That's true. Okay, wrapping up. We have to round up right now. Moving forward now, I think it's time for like the military told us, we are already in the post-war era, and it's time for them to. I think it's time for them to step up their intelligence gathering, because of course we've been seeing pockets of suicide attack here and there in Maiduguri. So I think it's time for them to step up their intelligence reports to be able to come quick. Because there's no way it's going to happen. We are going to have sympathizers of this Boko Haram insurgent in our society. So it's high time to start profiling. Okay, who is who in this area? What does the person do? What are the people he works with? So by the time they're bringing back people, those who left their IDPs, to turn them back to society, should be profiling them. Okay, how was he living before? Who is he? Who are his friends now? So all this kind of information where possible. Okay, these people are not sympathizers to the Boko Haram terrorists. These people are, and you are able to curb down, stop the pickpockets, suicide attacks around town, and finally have a free Nigeria from Boko Haram. I think that'll be all from me.
I think I will agree with you, because intelligence gathering is what we should emphasize at the moment. Besides intelligence gathering, we also should see that we do not have moves. Like the Chief of Army Staff said some politicians are beginning to get involved in this whole thing in order to drag this war against insurgency further. So we also have to just collaborate with the military, especially the politicians, so we do not sabotage their efforts. And then those of us who live in the society, I asked one question the last time we visited Maiduguri, and I said, what is the agenda? What do we want to achieve? Because I saw the landmass, that would be very useful in terms of agriculture. And, why won't these guys who are just fighting this war, and concentrate on agriculture? And because I think not just agriculture, we have, I'm very sure there's large deposit of other mineral resources. So why don't they just concentrate? And, we can also talk about intelligence gathering alone. We should also talk about empowering these youths, because in the Northeast, I see that we have so many of these Amajeris. So if we have many of them, you are fighting insurgency today, we should also attack it from another perspective. The perspective I'm looking at also is empowering these youth. You empower these youth, you take their minds off, insurgency, off violence, so it doesn't spring up again, because we may fight insurgency today, we may end insurgency today. What about tomorrow? What have we done to the future of this youth, young people? We need to also look at that aspect. And then we also need to incorporate other, security agents into this war against insurgency. We need to involve them fully, so that, information gathering cannot just be one dimension. It can be coming from different directions. You know, the military will be providing their own intelligence, information. The civil defense, even the road safety people can even be involved because of traffic and other things. So I think it is imperative we involve every other security agent.
Your final word.
Yeah, my final word is this war will definitely come to an end, and it's coming to an end very, very soon. Because of the zeal, the zest, and the enthusiasm that I noticed when we visited Maiduguri. Our army, the men in front, they are really willing to fight. All they need from us is to support them and give them the maximum support, so we can end this war once and for all.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Dotun, your parting words.
Yes, I'll say kudos to the military in this battle against the insurgents. What we need to do at this point is to encourage them, because it's not easy to put your life on the line for others to be able to sleep with their two eyes closed. The visit to Maiduguri will say a lot, despite the fact that those of us who slept in the hotel. I'm telling you, I'm not sure I closed my eyes for more than 30 minutes because of the army of mosquitoes in the room.
Yeah, exactly.
So I imagine those who are in the bushes, those who are outside keeping watch to ensure that we can sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
Not to talk of the fact that the danger is almost on a second basis in terms of losing their lives because of these terrorists who have become so desperate. So I'll say what we should just do is to encourage them and then that the country returns fully to peace. Thank you.
All right. Thank you everyone for joining us on the program.
Thank you.
All right. That'll be all.
All right, thanks.